Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. During the latest episode of WWE SmackDown, Nick Aldis was in the ring when Kevin Owens told the WWE Universe the heartbreaking news about his neck injury and is leaving immediately for urgent surgery to fix it. Furthermore, Aldis told Randy Orton in the ring that KO was unfit to compete at the Show of Shows. Hence, Orton now has no match at WrestleMania 41. However, before the SmackDown GM could say anything further, the Viper RKO'd him and left him lying motionless in the ring. Nick Aldis would be upset by the Viper's actions on SmackDown. Randy Orton was supposed to face Kevin Owens in a singles match at the grandest stage of them all. With that now cancelled, in a shocking twist, Nick Aldis might bring back the recently released AEW star and Aleister Black as Randy's mystery opponent to punish him for his actions. Recent speculations have suggested that Black could allegedly be the new leader of the Wyatt Six. Since Black was released from AEW earlier this year, there has been a massive buzz around his potential return to WWE. In recent times, the Stamford-based promotion has been dropping hints that tease the Dutchman's return. Many feel that the former NXT champion might emerge as the new leader of the Wyatt Six faction, as it would be the perfect revival for the fearsome stable, especially after they have seemingly been struggling to capture fans' attention. Additionally, if Black gets a returning match against a legend like Randy Orton at WrestleMania 41, it might even turn the faction's fortune around. Cody Rhodes got a match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania on his return to WWE, which turned out to be almost a career-altering move for Rhodes and the promotion. That said, the above-mentioned angle is still speculative, and nothing is confirmed yet. Other than Aleister Black being Randy's Mystery Mania opponent, another popular theory amongst fans is that WWE has potentially laid the foundations for the in-ring debut of the SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis. For quite some time, there was chatter online that the Stamford-based promotion was also interested in using Nick Aldis as a superstar, who could make an in-ring entry soon. Randy Orton took Aldis out with an RKO on the latest episode of the Blue Brand Show. There is a possibility that Nick might put his desk job aside for a night and reveal himself as Randy Orton's mystery opponent at the Show of Shows, creating an interesting scenario for fans on that historic night. However, the scenario above is hypothetical, and it will be interesting to see how the SmackDown GM Aldis reacts to Randy Orton putting his hands on him ahead of WrestleMania 41. The rise of Wyatt Six, Nick Aldis' role as the new leader, the return of Bray Wyatt, and the birth of Wyatt Six. WrestleMania is the grandest stage, where legacies are solidified and new empires are built. In the years following Bray Wyatt's tragic departure, WWE fans were left with a massive void, one that no wrestler could immediately fill. Wyatt had been a captivating leader, known for his cryptic messages, twisted psychology, and psychological manipulation. His faction, the Wyatt family, had built an empire of chaos, and its impact remained even in his absence. In late 2024, WWE began dropping cryptic teases about the return of something dark. Vignettes showed eerie imagery of broken masks, flickering lanterns, and distorted whispers that hinted at Bray Wyatt's legacy being reignited. However, the vignettes didn't feature Bray Wyatt himself. Instead, a different figure emerged in the shadows, Nick Aldis. For months, Aldis had been known for his polished professional demeanor, often seen as a man of principle and honor. However, the twisted world of Bray Wyatt seemed to have found a new home in Aldis. His transformation was slow but inevitable. It started with Aldis talking about the dark side of wrestling, about how the industry had twisted him, forcing him to abandon his old self. He spoke of embracing the chaos, something Wyatt had often mentioned before. He started donning darker colors, sporting a more menacing glare, and adopting a new persona. The final piece came when Aldis appeared on SmackDown sitting in a rocking chair that had once been Bray Wyatt's. The lights went out, and when they returned, Aldis had donned the infamous Wyatt mask, his eyes full of intensity and madness. He declared himself as the new leader of the Wyatt legacy, calling his faction Wyatt Six, a rebirth of the old cult with a new, more dangerous and unpredictable identity. The world needs a new leader. The world needs chaos, Aldis proclaimed, leaving the WWE universe both shocked and intrigued. Wyatt 6, the new faction under Aldis, would be unlike any other. The group's mission was simple: to punish the world of WWE for its sins, starting with those who had wronged Bray Wyatt in the past, none more so than Randy Orton. The history between Orton and the Wyatt family. The story between Randy Orton and the Wyatt family was one of the most bizarre and unsettling chapters in recent WWE history. Orton's initial alliance with Bray Wyatt's family, only for him to betray them, burned bridges that could never be repaired. Orton set fire to the family compound, quite literally trying to destroy everything Wyatt had built. Despite Wyatt's later comeback and continued psychological warfare, Orton had always managed to avoid any real repercussions for his actions. But now, with Aldis at the helm of Wyatt 6, the situation had changed. Nick Aldis was a methodical tactician, a man who didn't simply want to destroy Orton in the ring. He wanted to break him mentally and emotionally, to take away everything he held dear, just as Orton had done to Wyatt. Aldis planned to punish Orton. The story of Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton would not be a simple feud of fists and ladders. This would be a battle of the mind, a clash of ideologies, with a deep psychological warfare aspect. Aldis would not attack Orton directly, not at first. Instead, he would haunt him. Psychological manipulation. Aldis, as the leader of Wyatt 6, would begin by using the faction's mind games. He would force Orton into a series of unsettling confrontations, strange videos, cryptic messages on the Titantron, eerie whispers during Orton's matches. Aldis would turn the light on Orton's own history of violence, using his own demons against him. The mantra of Wyatt 6 would be simple: it's not about survival, it's about surrender. Slowly, Randy would begin to doubt himself, as Aldis and his faction would exploit his greatest fears. Mysterious attacks. Wyatt 6 would send Orton into fits of paranoia. They would use their numbers. Aldis, along with the new disciples of the group, each as dangerous and unpredictable as he, to isolate Orton in backstage assaults and surprise attacks. Each incident would be more intense than the last. Orton's physical body would begin to deteriorate, as would his mental state. The crucial moment. The tipping point would come when Wyatt 6 targeted Orton's loved ones. Aldis would pull every string possible, manipulating Orton's family, friends, and colleagues, dragging them into the psychological mess he created. At this point, Orton would be left with two choices: break or confront the nightmare head-on. The point of no return for Orton would be a brutal attack on his father, Cowboy Bob Orton, during the WWE segment where he had come to support his son. The assault would be savage, orchestrated by Wyatt 6 to push Orton into the darkest corner of his own mind. Randy Orton, now more broken than ever, would finally accept the challenge to face Aldis at WrestleMania 41. The build-up to WrestleMania 41. Orton versus Aldis, no escape. With the rivalry reaching its boiling point, WWE would start to hype the match at WrestleMania 41 as one of the most anticipated in recent memory. Aldis, having fully embraced the darkness of the Wyatt legacy, would promise that this match would not be just a fight. It would be a war for Randy Orton's soul. The feud would have a few key elements to build the stakes. The mental and physical battles. Leading up to WrestleMania, Aldis and Orton would meet in a series of one-on-one confrontations, each more brutal than the last. There would be cage matches, psychological torture and video promos, and ultimately a personal confrontation where Orton would look Aldis in the eye and promise vengeance. Aldis would taunt Orton relentlessly, claiming that the only way for him to find peace was through total destruction. Wyatt 6 involvement. Orton would take on each member of Wyatt 6 individually, leading up to WrestleMania. These matches would be strategically placed to tear Orton down further. Aldis, always watching, would orchestrate each attack. But the story wouldn't just be about physical dominance. It would be about how Aldis could break Orton mentally and emotionally. Orton's wins over the members of Wyatt 6 would only leave him vulnerable for the bigger battle. Personal storytelling. Through video packages and promos, WWE would delve deep into the psyche of Randy Orton. We'd see glimpses of Orton's past, his rise in the industry, his psychological warfare, and his earlier confrontations with the Wyatt family. Aldis would constantly remind Orton of his mistakes, pushing the idea that his entire career had been built on betrayal, manipulation, and dark intentions. "You are a product of chaos, Randy," Aldis would taunt, "and now it's time to face the consequences." The final encounter. On the night of WrestleMania 41, the match between Randy Orton and Nick Aldis would be set for a high-stakes, emotionally charged encounter. The arena would be buzzing as Orton, with a fire in his eyes, would finally step into the ring to confront the man who had haunted him for months. But Aldis would be prepared. He would bring the full force of Wyatt 6, using every tool at his disposal to push Orton to his limits. The match would be brutal, filled with weapons, psychological warfare, and moments of pure chaos. The audience would be on the edge of their seats as both men fought for supremacy. But in the end, Nick Aldis, having embraced the full force of Wyatt's legacy, would emerge victorious. He would leave Orton broken, both physically and mentally. The aftermath. Aldis' triumph and Wyatt 6 dominance. Aldis' victory at WrestleMania 41 would cement his place as the new leader of a twisted, destructive force in WWE. His reign would be marked by the rise of Wyatt 6 as one of the most dangerous factions in WWE history. Orton would disappear into the darkness, left with nothing but his shattered psyche and the haunting memories of the torment he'd endured. Nick Aldis would stand tall, claiming his place as the new face of chaos, a leader who had not only physically defeated Randy Orton, but had mentally and emotionally broken him. Wyatt 6 would now stand as a force that could not be ignored, and the world of WWE would be forever changed by Nick Aldis' leadership. In the end, this would not only punish Randy Orton, but would bring a dark new era to WWE. An era where Wyatt 6 reigned supreme, led by a man who understood chaos like no one else before him. This storyline would provide a compelling mix of psychological warfare, intense physical confrontations, and character development, leading to an epic battle at WrestleMania 41. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.